Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining today's Sitefinity 15.3 release webinar. We have quite a few slides to have a look at. I'll try to keep them as exciting as possible, but I'll rely on Jonathan Reed, our sales engineer, to walk you through a bunch of demos on how to, or maybe give you a preview or a real live demo on the latest and greatest enhancements to the version that we announced, I'll say 20 days ago, I think. So where do we begin? I'll begin with a question, and this is a curveball. I like throwing curveballs at John, and he knows it. So John, how do you use AI? Tell me.
Me personally, or no? I use it obviously in several different ways. One, I'll be quite honest with you, I might not be the best writer in the world. So I like to ensure that my content and my emails to customers and potential customers and partners is easy to read. Those types of situations. I'm not often creating web content, which we're going to obviously focus on today, but the same concepts do apply, of course.
All right. That was kind of the agenda. Yes, we'll be looking at how we use AI, and we'll talk about how we have embedded AI into Sitefinity and a bunch of other things. But John, honestly, the way I think you're using AI is to generate stuff like that. Yep. There we go. I know. I know that you play with ChatGPT and generating cool stuff, pushing the limits. But for the most of us who are doing content updates, we don't need to generate AI images or push the limit of AI to the brink of failing, because we have much bigger fish to fry. And as we work in the teams, as we work on segments of the content lifecycle, we need to get as quickly as possible to the point where we can hand off the output of our work to other teams, whether we are planning a release, a webinar, a blog post, and whether we are building a landing page to support those campaigns, or whether we are trying to localize it, promote it in different geographies, and socialize it with our customers, and generate a bit of demand so we can get some leads in. It really doesn't matter if you are into B2B or B2C. There's a one way or another, you're probably working in this kind of, I would say, team structure where you need to be able to help each other. So what I'd like to think about 15.3 is that it's the perfect release that makes many of those tasks that Asia, Nicola, Fernanda, Ali, Naveen, and Zach have, need to do on a daily basis more efficient, quickly to deliver at the top-notch quality and within committed deadline. Because, and I've shown this so many times, we are part of an ecosystem between so many different teams, ranging from SEO to all the way to legal. Any enterprise that is consider itself as medium, small to medium enterprise in the US probably, and potentially a big enterprise in Europe, will have a structure similar like this, where marketing is often at the center of everything what's happening, but really depending on multiple other teams, and multiple other teams depend on marketing, which brings us to another big challenge that is often a result of so many campaigns happening at the same time, so many web updates, so many things to fix, so many things to improve, and so many things to optimize. You end up with a bunch of potential bottlenecks. And this is something that can compound negatively in the long run, slowing you down, wasting resources, and leading to something that we are seeing across the board. Before I get to just 2 or 3 data points, I'll show you what else is really contributed to making my life a bit harder nowadays, and it is things and news like this. Now, I love ChatGPT. I've been using it since day one, but I've also seen realizing that they're trying to make their experience so good that you are spending a lot of time on ChatGPT, asking questions, having conversation, wasting energy on being polite or being, not being polite, but being kind of very direct. But the idea is that what I'm seeing is that ChatGPT and even Google are trying to keep our prospects, our customers, whoever is researching a product or a service, more into their own ecosystem of products versus driving direct traffic to the brands, to the websites of enterprises like yours, like ours, like many others. This could be a potential issue in the long run, because what we're seeing from multiple reports out there is that there's overall traffic across multiple industries just going down. I'm tracking a couple of data points, and I'm seeing this myself, where organic traffic is going like this, up and down, but sometimes this could be trending on downward. Why? Because people have just probably getting the information they are looking for somewhere else, maybe on communities, maybe on LLMs, maybe on Google, maybe on Facebook, and it seems like the paths, the common way to interact with the brands is just something that is changing, resulting in free traffic going down, paid traffic going up, the cost of visit going up and growing, and at the same time, content consumption again going down and declining, going in the red. Why? Because people have less time to explore resources, less time to research products, less time to read product pages, although they will, visit those product pages as a source of information, and a lot of frustrations because not every experience is optimized for their screen they're using, or really focuses on their needs. Think a news website where you have, well, sometimes not good news, but lots of banners and lots of advertising, creating frustration, and basically leaving you with a desire to just go somewhere else and to try new channels to interact or find the information that you're looking for. Which again brings us to the point of how we can improve those things, those KPIs, those metrics, how we can turn the trend around, and can we use AI in this particular question? And this is a question from Asya. Asya is our senior manager of product marketing. Many of you already know her. When we were discussing 15.3, she raised this question, and she said, well, can we use Gen AI, drive it within Sitefinity, so we can speed up content delivery, so we can avoid the blank page analysis paralysis, and when we are not sure where to start? Can we use AI to improve our SEO? Can we use AI to personalize our pages and reduce the ad hoc tools that we've been using? Things like, you name it, like Grammarly, like ChatGPT, like there's so many others. And I think that I highlight like a dozen or more in a webinar that we did 2 weeks ago. So here's my first question to Jonathan. And I know that Jonathan is just preparing up to grab the screen and to try to answer the question. Can we use AI within Sitefinity? What are my options? What are my benefits? And can I just stay within Sitefinity without switching tools and stay productive and stay efficient?
The answer, of course, is yes. And let's get to it here. Based on analysis, we have identified our restaurant franchising site. One of the entry points along the way is the fact that our company page is a page that is often trafficked. We figured this out through Sitefinity Insight, through Google Analytics, and a combination of those two things. So what we've done is we've opened up our company page there. And again, we've realized that this is a page that is frequented more than we initially thought, planned. I don't want to say desired, but again, we've learned through Insight and other analytics that this page is frequented more than we expected. Well, as an author, I looked at this page and realized, well, it's just a big giant wall of text. Nothing wrong with that, but are there ways that I can improve it, right? So as we've covered in previous webinars, and I'm just going to show you here, we won't go through this entire process, but I can, of course, generate content right now. So if I wanted to generate content about Coriander Lane, again, a restaurant franchise that's been around for nearly 30 years, I'm going to give it some key points. I'm going to give it an audience. I'm going to describe them. So hungry, health-conscious people. And the tone, we're always happy here at Coriander Lane. and then some type of length, right? 250 characters, 100 characters, whatever, 125 today. And we're going to compose it. It's going to compose it right in line here, which is a change in 15.3 before you previously waited on the screen and had to come back. I could replace this entire content block with this. That's not my intention today, but I could definitely do it if I wanted to, right? So again, we can write content in a matter of moments. I still have my human interaction involved with this. I'm going to read it. I'm going to check spelling. I'm going to look and make sure that it's valid, right? For now, though, I'm going to discard it. I do like the format that we already have, so let's take advantage of again what's already here, right? So let's take a look at this paragraph. It's lengthy. Let's be honest. Let's go ahead and make it shorter. So contextually now we're highlighting content, and I want to go ahead and make this shorter. Again, increasing the productivity of content, right? Boom, just in a matter of moment, I have a shorter paragraph offering the same content, right? Or the same topic, if you will. I'm going to go ahead and replace that. All right, again, we're reducing that big block wall of text, right? And again, we're going to enhance this experience as we go on. As I get into the history portion, we also have the ability with Sitefinity AI to create our own prompts, right? So I've created a prompt, right? And again, I might want to have a predefined audience or a brand feel or whatever. In this case, I have two here, brand guidelines. This one in the prompt, I basically say generate some content, or in this case, regenerate content based on something I've highlighted, and use our health conscious ideas, our we offer vegan food, we offer quality food, locally sourced, those types of words. I want to make sure that's part of our brand guideline. I can restructure this content, again, behind the scenes, and I'll show you the rules or the prompt in a moment. But again, I want to emphasize or identify with my brand. My brand is defined by that whole team that we talked about earlier. And now, again, I could re-emphasize this content. I want to do it something a little bit different, but again, we could do brand guidelines. It's going to talk about, again, what is our sort of mission? And we're doing that behind the scenes. But what I want to do first is I want to emphasize our brand. This is going to take the word Coriander Lane and emphasize it in bold and some other aspects. Now, all right, I do notice a little bit of situation here. I got a little bit of hanging text. Look, it's AI. We still have to have human interaction. It's okay. One, I could probably adjust my prompt, or I can take it as is or write my own thing. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and just replace this content, and we'll make just a couple quick human edits, if you will. Like I don't need this headline here. That's fine. We're gonna go ahead and then remove that hanging paragraph there. All right, perfect. So what we've done here, again, we've reduced our wall of text, if you will. We've talked a little bit differently to audiences, etc. We're gonna go ahead and save those changes. Alex brought up one other point in his question from Asia. Can we personalize content? Yeah. Absolutely. Now, this particular feature is only available in our renderers, but I want to personalize this content for a different audience that I have within my site. I've defined the audience elsewhere, okay, and not covered in this particular demonstration, but it's using Sitefinity personalization. I want to personalize this content. I want to use a group of visitors that I have, people who are interested in opening a franchise with us, right? They're completely different than somebody who might, in the general page that we had, might be a consumer of our food, right? They're hungry. They want to see what we're all about, kind of thing. This group, though, we want to talk to, again, a little bit differently. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and personalize this text. And again, we can do several things here. I can get my fingers to work properly. There we go. Again, we can now personalize the text to make whatever experience that we want. What we would do is potentially improve the writing, change the brand guidelines, do different aspects of it, and personalize it. Again, you have a very specific way to personalize content for a particular audience.
Oh yeah, I have several questions. And one of my questions is, you mentioned there was this shortcut about brand guidelines. Can I define my prompts, and can I customize my prompts on the run while working actually with content? Can I spice them up a bit to make it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Love the food pun. Yeah, let's get a little spicy here, right? So here's our emphasized brand prompt, if you will. So you're going to give it a title, you're going to give it an icon. We have several that you can use out of the box. And then this is what we're actually sending to AI, if you will, right? So here we're going to change the text to highlight our brand, the Coriander Lane restaurant. And then we have a couple quotes, and we're using content that we've highlighted in this particular case. So you cannot do this necessarily in this case from generating new content, although we could define a prompt to do something similar. So here's how we emphasize brand, and we also have our brand guidelines here as well, where again, we might specify certain prompts, etc. So again, here we're identifying that we're a marketer. We want to comply with brand guidelines, and this one's pretty lengthy. I'm not going to read the whole thing here, but again, we've specified to use content that we already have and emphasize the idea around the fact. I shouldn't say emphasize because we use that in a different context here, but again, inherently use our predefined brand guidelines and ideas.
I'm going to grab the screen now, and there's a reason why, because I have a very simple slide, but I'll be throwing another curveball at you with regards to setting up all those prompts and the service itself. So are you ready? It looks like it's a very straightforward and simple configuration and integration of Azure OpenAI with Sitefinity. What can you tell me about what we call Sitefinity Packaged AI Service?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we're now offering, as part of our Sitefinity Cloud solution, an add-on for Azure OpenAI behind the scenes. So again, using Azure OpenAI to help you build out your content experiences. See, there's a reason you had my brand. I think you used my beard in that picture, besides the point. Again, we're now offering this to our cloud customers. We are giving a free trial if you're on versions 15.2 and beyond. You do need to do a full deployment to get access to those Gen AI tasks, if you will. So again, we're going to give you a free trial of that as well. Again, we're using Azure OpenAI behind the scenes. You can still, again, manage your own prompts, and you can use the out-of-the-box ones, make shorter, make longer, obviously generate content, and of course, do your own prompts as well.
Do your own prompts, I think, is something I like, because between teams within our organization, we have different needs, and sometimes it will be about proofreading stuff versus improving the quality of the writing itself versus summarization or just content creation. How about using AI to automate workflows?
Well, there are definitely several tasks that we could do there.
Final question, and I think that we keep getting this one. What's the difference between Gen AI and machine learning in the context of Sitefinity and Sitefinity Insight? Do you have...
So generative AI obviously may use external data as really identified, but machine learning takes a model and really tries to drive in a goal, right? So I want to learn about, in this case, if we talk about Insight, I want to learn about my visitors, right? I want to see what my visitors are doing in order to complete a goal in this particular case, which we would label as a conversion, right? So one of those widgets that we have is that content recommendation widget. Behind the scenes, it's using machine learning. It's identifying what steps or interactions could be any sort of data source, could be visiting a page, downloading a document, whatever. It's identifying those steps and learning about them to see what steps a visitor takes to complete a conversion. The widget itself, after placed onto a page or a page template, suggests the next best step for a visitor to take in order to drive those. So the machine, based on a model, is learning about traffic and audiences to define a particular goal at hand and suggest a path for a visitor to take in order, again, in this case, to complete a goal. It obviously does much more than that, but that's how we use it in context of Sitefinity and the digital experience.
So I use it on a daily basis for anything from propensity scoring, AI-driven alert. There's so many other things, but I also am using Gen AI, and it's amazing how you can combine those two different aspects of AI into do something great. Which brings us to another question from one of our team members, and this is Nicola. And Nicola has been helping us build release web pages about release campaigns, and when he gets like 20 or 30 different requests per day for help, he's looking for tools to automate, or at least to reduce the manual work, or somehow make things easier for him and whoever he works with and supports with to create amazing and very engaging landing pages. How do we help, Nicole?
Well, tons of ways, right? So we have some new features in 15.3, which I think are great for identifying things like section presets and being able to share them across your multi-site instances.
Great to know.
Yeah, we of course have ways to reuse content now where we can make items editable on pages from the page template perspective. So we've jumped back into our refocusing or rebranding or restyling of our company page, right? So the first thing I want to do is I want to change this section to be 2 columns, right? And maybe we're going to go with a more 67 by 33. I think that's a pretty good size here. Again, obviously makes this content a little bit longer over there. We can adjust as necessary. Let's go ahead and add a widget here. Now, you've already been introduced previously to section presets. We've had them for a few releases now, but now again, the capability comes down to being able to share it with multiple sites. So here are some of the section presets that we've defined in the site. I love defining entire landing pages, right? What is the difference between a section preset and a template? I'm glad you asked. Section preset has a little bit lower guardrails, if you will. So as I inject it onto the page, so let's go ahead and do this call to action here. As I place it onto the page, it has predefined things, right? But I could move things around, right? I could remove this button, I could add it, whereas a template is going to have a higher guardrailed situation. I already have this layout defined. They can't move it. They can't edit it. All they can really do is place content here and place content there, right? So a template, a page template, has a higher set of guardrails, right? Whereas the section preset, again, is a lower guardrailed situation. So again, we might use, we'd add some content in here and save it. So the team has already defined that. And then here, I might go ahead and send this to our contact us, right? So we might want to get a contact us. We're going to change the page. This is navigating to, and we'll select a page from the system. Again, the idea here is I've already predefined a number of things for the authoring and editing team here, so they can easily build out this functionality, right? So again, we've section presetted. I do notice one other thing. I don't love the way that my my text here is kind of buttoned up so close. So I want to go ahead and into column 1 here, and I'm going to add a little padding on the right-hand side of this left column. So column 1, I could label them as well. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of padding there to again make my look and feel look a little bit better. All right, there we go. Okay, I like that a little bit better. So section presets, we can again reuse now across different sites. So here's all the section presets I have currently for this site. You can see this one here, call to action, with it already has a margin defined on it. I have one that isn't. This is the one we just used. Maybe again, down the road, the business has decided that I really need this layout on other sites, right? Much like page templates, I can now share this. I only have 2 sites here. I can now share this layout, if you will, or predefined section and widgets with other sites. Quite powerful capabilities there. The other point to make here as we look at page templates, again, a little bit higher guardrail situation. So I have a landing page template, right? If I decided to, I wanted to give that sort of same layout and feel as I predefined beforehand, but want to lock it down a little bit tighter, right? I can just go ahead and define all of my sections. And then I can also say, let's put a content block here. And we can decipher or decide as a team if I want to make this editable on pages, right? So I could have something predefined here. I love to call this the 1% rule, right? I have 99 pages, but there's always that one where I needed to change this one little area, right? And again, in this particular case, make editable on pages, I might predefine the content here, okay, whatever it might be, an image, it could be the top banner, whatever it is. But one page, I need to change it, you can go ahead and make it editable on pages. The idea here is as I use this template on or for a page, those guardrails are higher. I can't change the layout. I can't do anything else. All I'd really be able to do here is update the content, and maybe, of course, over here, I'd have a form picker as well. So 2 options for reusing predefined styled ideas, components, widgets, sections, all those types of things. 1, page templates, higher guardrails, right? 2, section presets, a little bit more flexibility. So as we go back to our company page here, I had this call to action widget. I have full capabilities here. I could move this image somewhere else if I wanted to. A template might not allow you to do that particular factor, right? So section presets, sharing them across sites. We can obviously share templates. Making editable on pages are great productivity tools to help design teams and authoring teams work together to, again, maintain brand standards, guidance, etc.
While you were doing the demo, I was updating one of the slides. That's the slide. Did I pick it correctly? Okay, so widgets and templates is something that put guardrails, as you said, and then you have this preset that you can just copy from one site to another. How about availability? The ability to copy and paste section presets between sites. We've introduced with 15.3 to both cloud and self-hosted deployments, but what front-end technology does it support?
Got it. Absolutely. Yeah. Again, the section presets for me, a page banner are a common factor to me. I might have an image behind there. Remember, we've added some maybe custom classes behind the scenes that, again, my everyday authors and editors don't need to know about, but I wanted to give them a well-defined style and capabilities, right? So again, allow them to easily inject it onto the page, but give them some freedom to do some stuff, updating the content, switching the image, those types of things. So definitely a great tool for reducing time to market, whether it's landing pages, new section, product pages, doesn't matter what you're doing with them. You can be very predefined, if you will.
Give me a page and I will try to break it. And section presets is a great way to keep things consistent. I am guilty.
Right.
And definitely a time saver. Let's move on. What other notable enhancements do you see in the 15.3? Couple of boring bullet points, but for the folks like you who are into release notes and stuff, what's your favorite?
Oh boy, I mean, we continue down our path with Next.js. So as a reminder, we have 2 front-end rendering technologies. Next.js official release was 15.2. So if you're on 15.2, you can add in that front-end renderer to your site and begin to develop in JavaScript, right? So now a front-end technology in pure or just JavaScript, right? So again, you might have a deeper bench in those areas than you might in .NET or other things. So we continue feature parity across both of those particular platforms with our current MVC implementation. So introduction of profile widget, they make editable on pages. We've had that for years. Remember, Sitefinity celebrating 20 years this year. Alex and I have both been here the whole time, I think. No, I'm kidding. But again, we're continuing down those feature parity paths. Again, there was some digital asset management. So you can create your own. We do have a couple out of the box, but you can now, we've enhanced those features, bring in alt text and some other stuff based on your guys' feedback. So keep the feedback coming. We love it. Reach out to your account managers, reach out to me. Tell me, we need to know about the product. Front-end search enhancements. Again, some improvements into Lucene. We continue to have Azure search capabilities and of course Elasticsearch as well. My favorite part about this is, maybe you guys noticed this, maybe you didn't in the past, but while re-indexing, sometimes indexes became unavailable. This is no longer the case. Indexes are available while you're indexing. That's kind of weird to say, or re-indexing. So if you go into the back end, you say re-index, people can still search and get content on the back end as well. Nice. And again, another enhancement, just ensuring when content is tagged that the reindex does trigger. So again, a couple great enhancements. Again, rolling down the feature parity with those new front-end technologies, really trying to enhance the experiences. I love the development experience of both those particular platforms and the speed to market in time. Nice.
Lots of enhancements for the IT heroes and the folks like you who really like to fiddle with code. Let's press this button. This is the magic button that will advance my slide to the next one. And we have a question from Ellie. So she works on emails, campaigns, landing pages, promoting webinars, uploading the recordings, helping us spread the word and get more folks to sign up for those fantastic webinars. She will often come back and ask me, where can I find the images for campaign X? Because, I mean, when there are like, let's be honest, when there are like 20, 30, 50 editors in the back end, just like it gets messy. Let's be honest. So
it happens.
Well, without going into Marie Kondo and her philosophy of tidying things up, how is there a shortcut to happiness? Finding images.
Absolutely.
Let's
introduce.
Let's introduce function. Making John. And
let's introduce AI image search. So this will be available for our cloud-based customers.
Yes.
Okay, it is an add-on feature. The idea is that we're going to search for the focus of the image, right? So again, we're back to our company page, right? We have this call to action. We need to update this image. It's really just not speaking to the needs here, right? So let's go ahead and edit the image that we're using. We'll go take a look through our libraries, and this is the fun thing here, right? Let's search for, you saw my good friend King, my cat. Let's search for cats, okay? As we search for cats, what is going on here? Wait a minute, that's not a cat. Why did that happen, right? Well, I'm tricking you guys, right? I actually went and updated the title of this image and the alt text to include the word cat, just to mess with you guys, right? So what I want to show here is, again, that it's still searching titles and tags, and I can show the wrong stuff, right? But if I search for cow, there is nothing in this system that has the word cow in it, right? Except for the image itself. So now we're able to find cow. How did it find cow? Well, AI is processing the focal point of this image, or the focus, and now we're able to find cows. Neither one of those things have anything to do with what I'm doing today, but I just like to prove the point. Again, we're still searching through alt text. I got cats to show up because one other thing. You might also notice a folder there that showed up. That's because the title of that folder was had the word cat included in it. It's because it's locations, C-A-T, right? But I think for this idea here, we want to look for happy people.
Happy people.
Happy people. We got some food showing up here. We can also look for people, and here we go. We have several different types of people that we can find. We got crowds, we got whatever. Because we have that restaurant focus, let's go ahead and use this image of a happy customer in this particular case. Again, group of friends, out to dinner. That's definitely speaking to this particular audience. Remember, the default audience of this page is all of my visitors, right? I might also come back and personalize this image for a franchising group. So again, we can use that image AI search to easily find the focal points of images. And don't have to know the title, don't have to know where it's located, don't have to know anything else. We can easily search and find for common images throughout the system.
Nice, and I think I now understand all those capture images that I've recognized over the years, how they're contributing to
right, for sure.
They're paying back to me. All right, let's continue with the conversations, because with conversation and the questions. Now that Ali has worked on the page, she has selected a great image to enhance it, to make it more engaging. The next step is obviously to share it with our internal friends and the field marketing team. Fernando is always eager to use assets or campaign or landing pages or product pages and to localize them to the specifics of the market. And sometimes it's all about translation. The problem is that Alex is never happy with the release, and Alex will continue to work on the release until we are just approaching deadline, which leaves Fernando very little time to handle all the translation and to perfect everything, working with external. Jonathan, please help me, please, because there's a lot of stress when I need to prepare for release and I'm not ready for the final copy. Show me, please.
Yes, so a couple notes here. So this does require the translations management add-on. All enterprise customers have this particular add-on. If you don't have it, that's okay. You can add it on individually to your solution, or again, it is included in the enterprise-based package. Now, that being said, again, we're still focusing on this particular page about our company, revamping it, etc. Again, tight deadlines coming up. We got to get this done. I need it translated. We've now have the Microsoft translation service available, and I can go ahead and send this page through the translation service, again, using Microsoft AI Translation Service. I have 2 languages enabled on the site, of course, English being my default, and I also am using Spanish. I'm going to send it off for translation. I have 2 options here. I do want to use the machine translation from Microsoft. Let's go ahead and send this off for translation. Now, we'll give this a little bit of time before, and we'll, again, depending on the service and the capabilities, might take a minute. So again, we'll go ahead and publish that current version of the page. I like to come back here, and we'll go ahead and filter this down to Spanish. And we'll go ahead and look at our company page. So not quite there yet. Again, AI is doing its magic behind the scenes to go ahead and translate our page and the content about it. All right, well, we're going to give that a moment just to see there, but nonetheless, as this system translates the content, you would have this blue bubble filled and the page title translated. This was one I did earlier. We'll just go ahead and open that one, and you'd have the content and page translated in this particular case. All right.
Definitely faster than me writing an email asking for a page to get translated, payment approved, copy sent, and sometimes I'll forget my attachment. So it's worth waiting 2 minutes for things to sync, travel the world, get things translated, and back into Sitefinity. But hold on a second, you promised me that you would be you showed me the workflow thingies, because it's not always about translation, but building like things like social posts and tweets and what have you not. All right, this one you didn't expect.
Yeah, there's probably a situation there, and that's okay. It happens. It's why we do live demonstrations. So we could go back here and just real quick, we could look at the translations and being sent. I suspect that there was some error with it, so we could, of course, identify. Oh, it was angry because the page was locked. All right, well, that was a shame on me. So I could go resend it here really quick, and we can get it translated. So I'll do that real quick. While we discuss the next steps there.
All right.
So we'll switch back to English here. We'll go ahead and send that again for translations. Now that it's not locked anymore, shame on me.
Yes, actually, pages being locked is sometimes a good thing, because I've been into a situation where someone would just publish a page, tell the world the news that it's not ready to get live. So it can help in certain cases, yes, but in this particular case, apparently this is a.
All right.
There it is, finally.
There we go. And as promised, the magic. Again, this item is in draft status, so we'll come back here. We'll review the content, and again, publish it as ready.
One thing about the availability, you mentioned it's available to both cloud customers and self-hosted.
Yep, absolutely.
You can bring your own key. Yeah.
Bring your own key. Yep, absolutely. It's a NuGet package for the Microsoft Translation Service. Again, as a reminder, the Translations Management add-on interacts with many different types of translation services. It's not just limited to Microsoft. Here today, obviously, our excitement and our focus is on the fact that AI, right? We're using a machine translation service to do it.
Speaking about AI, we mentioned attribution and personalization and content recommendation and propensity scoring. So one of the key areas in the data-driven digital marketing process of getting further and reaching more people is to really start managing your campaigns, audiences, and do more with less, meaning optimize your cost, improve the engagement, move the needle for the most critical KPIs. So a common question, and I've heard it even internally, is how do I get started, for example, with something that we already have? And many of you already have access to Sitefinity site. If you don't have, we can obviously help you get in there. But the news is that we have a bunch of tutorials that are ready for you to explore anything from defining the conversion to creating a touch point to setting up personas, everything that can get you up to speed so you can start to understand your audience, where you see gaps, where you see opportunities, and just get up to speed with data-driven marketing. And it does help. It definitely, with so many different touch points and channels and advertising channels, and obviously ways that our audience interacts with us. Another great feature, and I see it right there on my screen, is Parquet data export. And digging into it, I realized that it's a fantastic tool to get your data in a format that you can use to further perform for the analysis. We are not going to do a demo, but I know that Ali is doing a workshop. We did have one workshop already. We're having another workshop that will get you up to speed with anything Sitefinity Insights. So sign up for this one. It's amazing. And is it Pavel who is doing? Yes,
he's Pavel. Yep, my colleague Pavel is doing those.
He has a lot of stuff to show.
Yeah, I think we've actually had 2 already. We're working on the third will be, I believe, the first week in May. So they are recorded, so you can definitely get access.
Website. Nice. Check the website. Check the onboarding. It's amazing. Now, many capabilities. We've discussed AI, translation, image search, cognitive search. We've discussed bits of Sitefinity. Obviously, I mean, Sitefinity just works. I've been with Progress for 10 years, and I can still use the first version that I touched. I think it was something like 8 or 9, and it's a fantastic CMS. And I realized that many of our customers would happily stay on those versions, but they're missing a lot. What if they want to still upgrade if they've realized that there's so many missed opportunities by not using these new technologies and those new capabilities? And we are just recapping Sitefinity 15 here. We're not even getting back to earlier versions that introduce so many additional features. Where do they start? Jonathan, and this is for you because you keep having those conversations with lots of folks. And I know that they all have questions about where do I start? What are my options to upgrade? How do I move from version X to version Z?
Yeah, there's obviously several paths. The CLI for on-premise customers is your best case scenario. You can go directly from 13.3 to 15.3. So again, great capabilities there. From that point, again, customers still on 13.3, we want to get you upgraded as soon as possible. To a minimum of 14.4, we obviously recommend the latest version, as we'll have a long-term supported version released later this year with a minimum support until 2030. I don't even know how to fathom that number, Alex, but a long time away. I mean, you're looking at 4.5 or so years of support before it's retired. That means MVC customers, you have support for at least that long. Great time to obviously plan for the future, which will, I believe, show you a tool here in just a moment. The plan typically goes around the fact of, again, moving towards a renderer. So how might we do that? Well, we have a great tool that we've introduced recently, but before we do that, just again, a visual reminder about what's supported, what's going away. So if you're on less than 13.3, 14.1, 2, or 3, those are not currently supported. So you want to upgrade to, again, a minimum of 14.4. 13.3, again, we've extended the support. We realized, again, that it takes some significant time to do this. We totally understand. Get it upgraded to, again, a minimum of 14.4, and you'll have a longer term support. Again, recommendation is to get to the latest 15 version, currently 15.3, which are all currently supported.
Nice. I skipped a couple of slides. I'm going to go back to those slides in a minute, but I know that you kept repeating the upgrade tool. So there you go. Me pressing the button, the slides on the screen. Good. What's going on with the upgrade tool? Let me know.
So first step of the migration analyzer is exactly that. Let's analyze what your site is currently doing. So if your site is on 13.3 and greater, this is an open source GitHub repository that you can download and place onto your site. We recommend doing it on a lower environment. It does take some resources to calculate these particular statistics. In this case, we're looking at the Pages tab. How many pages do you have? What templates are they using? How many widgets are on it? Okay. Again, this is going to give you a good understanding of what you're using and what you're not using. Many of you have been using Sitefinity for years, maybe even decades at this point. Again, we've been around for 20 years. I know some of you have been on it for 10 plus years. Again, let's see what you're using, what you're not using. Has several different tabs. Once you've identified what you're using, there's still a little bit of development work at play. So you're going to need to start with page templates. We then have a migration tool to help you migrate a page template from MVC or web forms to ASP.NET Core today. Soon, it'll be available to migrate to Next.js as well. Again, today, ASP.NET Framework, MVC, or the web forms technology are able to migrate to .NET Core. A couple pushes of a button, and you get a page generated with a little note that says migrated to decoupled. Human interaction, ensure that the template is migrated in the way that you expect. You run a secondary command that says replace. It would then replace that particular instance for pages, page templates, etc. So again, we're coming out with the tools to help you facilitate a faster time to market and migration. I've said this before, I believe, on webinars, but I find both renderers are significantly faster in the development process.
Oh, not only the development process, because I'm going to press my backwards button, navigate back to the presentation that I skipped, because we forgot about SEO. And every time we talk about traffic and trends and visitors and conversions, Zach, our in-house SEO guru, would say, hey guys, you need to speed up the website a bit. You need to speed up the website a bit. Let's improve the front end a bit. And you just said that Next.js is easy to develop with. And actually, we've seen that one of our customers who recently migrated their front ends to Next.js. So a lot of improvement across the board in core vital metrics. Now, for those of you who are not into the technical SEO, this can result in better experience for end customers, perceived load times. This can improve SEO in general. This can improve your ad quality score, meaning spending less on paid campaigns. So if you are looking into improving those KPIs that I mentioned earlier in the deck, maybe this is one consideration that you might, well, one thing to consider is upgrading and migrating to a new front-end technology. Obviously, there's a bunch of things that can be improved, but once you've set the base, it's really easy. And I think that we have a success story with which we are going to wrap up this. Now it's just great, awesome. This is USA Swimming. They were seeing that their website was getting a bit dated, kind of was struggling, just like as if they're running a marathon or swimming like 2 miles in open water. So at some point they decided to boost it, to revive it a bit, and redid their website on ASP.NET Core. Yep, happily serving about 380,000 members across 2,700 clubs. And since they migrated to the cloud, they were able to happily serve all those visitors during the 2024 Olympics. So there's quite a few compelling reasons to upgrade. If you're not ready now, we probably have a LTS version coming later this year, 15.4. We don't have the date, but again, you saw the lifecycle policy early on that this version will be supported till 2030. So if you haven't started your upgrade journey, now's the time to evaluate your business needs, evaluate your tech needs, tech stack, and just plan. And I know that Jonathan will be more than happy to answer your questions. So
wait, there's more.
All right, cool.
You ready? Ready? All right, I'm gonna steal it again here. Okay, so we talked a lot about AI, right? We mentioned briefly Integration Hub. I want to show you Integration Hub and how I respond to my customers, right? So with Integration Hub, right, in about 5 minutes, I'm able to respond effectively to my customers, potentially if they give negative feedback, right? I have a contact us form, right? I fill it out, John, Reed, whatever, don't mind my spelling. So jreed@progress.com. Email me, don't worry about the caps. Company is Progress. Oh my gosh, I can't type. Phone number, zip, right? Subject, food is amazing. Okay, great. Nothing so negative about that. But here's
no, put a note about a cat. The cat shouldn't have been in the restaurant.
Okay. There were way too many feral cats and they smell funny. Okay, that's my feedback. Hey, you know what? It happens.
Negative feedback, I mean, that's
fine. All right, I'm going to send it, right? So if we get negative feedback, so again, we use AI, in this case, again, Azure OpenAI, to analyze the text. If it is negative, we're going to draft an email with AI, responding positively to this visitor, and I just got an email behind the scenes. Check it out. All right, so here, my subject. Thank you for your feedback, your recent visit to Coriander Lane. Dear valued customer, thank you for taking your time to share your feedback about Coriander Lane. We're delighted that you found our food amazing, as we strive to provide the best culinary experience to our guests. However, we're concerned that your issue you encounter with the presence of feral cats and the associated smell, right? Again, I mean, we're being, I don't want to say silly, but this is a real life experience that you can actually use AI. So I don't necessarily use the out of the box experience with Sitefinity to send an email, but this, again, if you have a negative experience, I want to get feedback directly. And again, we continue down the road, and Sarah Savvy Susan is my my customer advocate with Coriander Lane. And again, I literally built this in 5 minutes or less. The email comes from myself. You can, of course, have it come from your no reply or whatever it is. And just in a matter of moments, I built out this way to potentially respond to negative feedback from customers, right?
You know what? We love feedback, negative or positive.
Absolutely.
We can, by the way, if you're a Sitefinity customer, you can always ping Jonathan. Jonathan, maybe you should publish this form, and maybe webinar
we could.
Friends sometimes with us, they like in the last hour, they should leave some feedback to let us know how we can improve, how we can enhance the content, the presentation, the demos. Let us know. Don't be shy. And we promise we won't use AI to reply. That's my promise. Enjoy Sitefinity, and thank you very much for being our valued, webinar attenders today. Thank you again, and bye.